All right. Today we're here with an extraordinary person with an incredible story. Can you let the people know who you are?
My name is Lester Lamar Marshall L. And I'll be 79 in August.
August what? What birthday?
August 17th, 1847.
All right, I'm 11.
And I'm just getting out of prison. I did, this charge right here, I did 46 years in prison, and it was, looking at it from a broad perspective, it was like, what they call wrongfully conviction, and I can get into the story of that, but I really don't want to do that right now. But it's crazy because I met a lot of people that was in prison that was doing a lot of time for crimes that they had committed. I am very, very surprised and thankful that I am, I'm not messed up in the head like some people are that, spent the time, the kind of time that they spent in prison. I'm saying? I'm still a violent person, and I'm a people's person kind of guy, even though I did all this time for a crime that I did not commit. I'm so thankful. I love myself, and I try the best that I possibly can to share that love with everyone in the community, especially in the community that I'm living in, because I'm in a transition home, and I'm the only one, that's nearly 80 years old that cut the grass, trim the grass, does this stuff. The people in the neighborhood, they actually show a lot of love toward me. The dogs even, get the wine and want me to come over and lick my hand and stuff like that. The kids, be offering me stuff, what I'm saying? It's like, man, I just can't. Another part of me is like, I've been away from society so long. Modern technology has me feeling like I'm an individual from another planet. I'm on another planet. I hate my cell phone. Cell phone right here.
So listen to that real quick. I'm gonna take this, right? So first of all, you hear this other in the background. We're actually at the RCAD, Returning Citizens Affairs Division here in Oxon Hill High School. So this is actually a lot of stuff going on. But I wanted to go ahead and take the time because this is something that you're not going to hear much of. A person that has done 46 years incarcerated, still out here, healthy, of sound mind, integrating back into society. Now he says about how the challenges with technology. So that's one of the things that we'll definitely have to address and issue as far as returning citizens come in, because phones was illegal where we were. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't have that. You couldn't, and it puts you in a place where now you're forced to have to deal with this because everybody has these things in their life. But you also described how you are grateful for the simple things that you get to experience now that you weren't able to, because you couldn't cut grass unless you was part of the landscaping crew, you know what I'm saying, inside. You weren't able to deal with a lot of things right now that you are now. So it's remarkable just in the story, and this is just a preview because it's telling me about his history coming from Mississippi, correct?
Mississippi.
Coming from Mississippi, ended up in the DMV area, and then to have to go through the wrongful conviction, and we'll be going into that a lot more because this is just the beginning. We're going to be seeing about how we can also get you to write and publish your story, but we're going to start out with a series of documentaries. Is there anything important that you want to say to the people before we conclude this about something that you really took away from your incarceration that was beneficial?
What I want to say to you all is that going to prison, was very, very hard on me. But I was able to use the process of my thoughts, to make it through those hard times. Just like anything else out here in the street, people can use them. Our thoughts is very powerful. And, once we realize that, just sitting down and just thinking about something, thinking that, gravitating toward the positive opposed to working in the negative, it's like you can do whatever you want to do, and I owe it to the people in the community that I'm living in, the kids, the people that I see on the buses all day long. Every time I get on the bus, I thank the driver for picking me up, and I ask my brothers and sisters and little kids on the bus, how is everybody feeling? When I first started doing this, getting on the bus, people was looking at me like I was crazy or something, They wouldn't even speak. But I kept at it because on that bus, it is, our so-called people, the so-called black people, on those buses, and it's those women that's on those buses, and I owe it to myself, like coming out here in prison, I owe it to myself to let people in the community see a better side of me that they see in the people that's going to prison, and I've tried everything I possibly can to convince people that in the re-entry home that I'm in, to show the people in the community the better side of them, opposed to walking around in the neighborhood with black hoodies on like you're out to do something to somebody or something. That is not the thing to do. You need to let people see the positiveness in you, and that's what I do every day since I've been out of prison, is to show people a different side of what the government, what the court, what the lawyer, what the prosecutors, view me as.
So that's what we do. Two great takeaways. First of all, you hear the humanity, the connection with humanity, being able to come out and even speak to folks, what even the folks that been out here wasn't even doing on the regular. And then the other thing is the power of thoughts. Just like I talk about me writing my freedom, it first had to be the transformation of the mind to think positive so I can write positive and be out here. So we're going to conclude with that, and we'll have much more as we continue to work on documenting this journey as far as what you are and what you have to say and being able to have this writing. J.S. Russell, I wrote my freedom, I teach you how to write.